Hey, I'm John Grisham, a novelist, author.
Hi, everybody. I'm Elizabeth Gilbert.
Nicholas Sparks.
Melinda Gates here.
I'm Jay Manuel.
I'm Elaine Welteroth.
I'm Scott Turow.
Kimberly Williams Paisley.
Hi, I'm Stephen King. No, I'm James Patterson.
The best book that I have read on quarantine.
I just finished a book called...
I'm reading this really special book.
A novel that I've been reading lately.
I'm currently reading
The book I'm reading
Right now.
This week,
The book that I have been going back to so much.
One of my favorite books is called Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman. It's incredible that we're born with a mind, but we never go to school for the mind, or we never get a manual for the mind. And I really feel that this book, Thinking Fast and Slow, has given me a deeper appreciation of how the mind works and how we can use it to develop powerful habits that will actually serve us during tough times like this.
I'm currently reading A New Earth by Eckhart Tolle. Eckhart has a way of helping one understand that gratitude and presence is what brings us joy. And I think right now, finding the joy is what we need.
The book that I have been going back to so much is Awakening Joy. The lessons in this book that I read so many years ago and that I keep turning to now during this time are how to find joy in the everyday moments.
When I was a naive teenager, I tried to read Toni Morrison and couldn't get into it, but several years have passed, and now I have a 16-year-old daughter who demanded that I read Song of Solomon, and I loved every word of it.
I am currently reading The Source of Self-Regard by Toni Morrison. I think in a time when we are facing ever increased uncertainty every day, words like Morrison's, which inspire us to continue writing, to continue defying, and to continue standing up, I think could be even more valuable now.
I am reading The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. This book makes me feel calm and reassured that there is a greater power working in this world than what I can understand as a human being. And the last line in this book reads, "And though no one thinks of himself as a warrior of the light, we all are."
The best book that I have read on quarantine, hands down, is this book called Untamed by my girl, Glennon Doyle. It is so good. So good. Like the kind of book you need to read with a pen in your hand so that you could underline like every other word. Shall I read you a little snippet? Every life is an unprecedented experiment. This life is mine alone. So I have stopped asking people for directions to places they've never been. Had to drop that like a mic.
I'm reading Hidden Valley Road. It's about the subject of schizophrenia and a family that grew up in the 1950s with 11 children, 2 girls, 9 boys, 6 of whom were diagnosed with schizophrenia, and many other things they were diagnosed with. Sometimes wrong, sometimes right, but mostly wrong. It's a great reminder of why we should be grateful.
I just finished a book called Race Against Time. It's by Jerry Mitchell, a buddy of mine, a reporter in Jackson, Mississippi. And he's written a terrific book about the civil rights murders in Mississippi some 50 years ago. I feel connected because I'm from Mississippi, and I remember as a child some of these murders. And about 20 years ago, my friend Jerry Mitchell began investigating the crimes and digging, and the more he dug, the more stuff he found. And he's responsible for sending these guys to prison, finally, for the murders, and most of them died in prison.
I'm reading this really special book. It's called There I Am by Ruthie Lindsay. Ruthie got in an accident, a car accident, when she was in high school, and then had to overcome the debilitating pain, the surgeries, and learn how to live with the pain that she still has, and to find joy in her life. And if you follow Ruthie Lindsay online, a lot of the time she's like dancing, she loves to dance, she's full of bright light and energy, and I'm drawn to that.
The book I'm reading right now is called The Big Goodbye. It's about the making of the movie Chinatown. Jack Nicholson is the star of the movie and one of the big stars of the book. Robert Evans was the producer, and it was just a series of, oh, throw that screenplay out. Oh, the director doesn't like that. Oh, the actor doesn't like that. All these crazy things, which in the case of Chinatown, resulted in something quite wonderful.
Joan Didion's The White Album. It was given to me by my best friend in California, and then after a few text exchanges with some other friends, we had kind of all discovered that 4 of us were all rereading it at the same time. I just find her no-nonsense approach just like extremely refreshing.
Rebecca Solnit's Recollections of My Non-Existence. Reading this book made me feel connected to women, to wanting to find my voice for change, to put on my gloves and come out fighting.
Men We Reaped by Jesmyn Ward. The author talks about her experiences growing up and some of the people that she met and lost throughout her childhood, and it feels like I am growing up alongside with her.
The Storied Life of A.J. Vickery by Gabrielle Zevin. This book is all about connectivity and love and how to hold on to the people and the things that mean the most to you.
Arbitrary Stupid Goal by Tamara Shopson. That's a memoir about growing up in her parents' restaurant/grocery store in Greenwich Village in the 70s and 80s. It makes me feel connected to all my fellow New Yorkers, especially my native New Yorkers.
I am reading Contested Waters by Jeff Wilst. As a writer, I think it's wonderful to read nonfiction. I always find little details that I end up putting into my fiction later.
Remembrance by Rita Woods. This is a book about connection through time and over distance. And I think that's something that in this moment is super powerful.
The novel that I've been reading lately is called The Mirror and the Light, and it is the third piece of a trilogy of novels written by the incomparable Hilary Mantel. These are books about Henry VIII, but more specifically, they are books about his second in charge, his consigliere, the great mastermind of politics, Thomas Cromwell, who I think of as being the best and most fascinating character I have ever encountered in any book. Stories like this can bring us together, for one thing, by reminding us that there were other more difficult moments in history. As bad as things are right now, do you really want to be living in 16th century England?
I'm reading The River. More than anything, this novel made me feel transported to a different place, and it allowed me to meet new people and really feel the various nuances of the human spirit.
There Will Never Be Another You by my mom, Carolyn C. And in this book, her last novel, before she passed away, she wrote about a pandemic. And the fact that this had a pandemic and there she was able to find a happy ending, I find very inspiring right now.
I'm Charlotte Jones Boyklis, Madeleine L'Engle's granddaughter. If you know anything about Madeleine, you probably know her as the author of A Wrinkle in Time. And she wrote that book here in this house. And she also wrote many of the stories in this new collection, The Moment of Tenderness, here in this house. I love this collection so much because it makes me feel in this particular moment that there is a chance, a hope at renewal and connection. And it's finding those small moments that make life worthwhile, even in the midst of chaos and crisis.
The book I'm reading right now is called Dactyl Hill Squad by Daniel Jose Older. It's the Civil War plus dinosaurs plus a bunch of really spunky orphans. It's as wonderful as it sounds. I am clinging to anything that makes me feel happy right now. This book makes me feel happy.
I am currently rereading Catching Fire after having just finished rereading The Hunger Games. I think readers are falling in two camps on the dystopian front right now. Either you're avoiding it because we're living in a dystopian, or you're turning to it. I'm really enjoying dystopian fiction right now, thinking about how, okay, if these people can be brave, I can be brave too.
The book I am currently reading right now is Spinning Silver by Naomi Novik. The setting is like Siberian Russia. I feel like this is totally like a contemporary old world back when the czars were doing their thing, but then fantasy stuff be hitting and I'm like,
I am currently reading Crescent City by Sarah J. Maas. This is Sarah J. Maas's newest book, and it's an urban fantasy book, so you get cell phones, but you also get fairies, you know what I mean? I tend to gravitate towards high fantasy books, especially now during the times that we're in, because they quite literally pull you out of this world and put you in a world where there are vampires and werewolves just roaming around.
The book I'm reading this week is called The Heart's Invisible Furies. It frankly has transported me to a very different place, which is to say, the Republic of Ireland in 1945. It's a very funny book, and a good laugh is a good thing to have right about now.
The book I'm reading right now is Alpine Cooking, which is an overview of the cooking of the French Alps, the Swiss Alps, the Austrian Alps. It's making me feel a little nostalgic for them right now.
I am currently reading The First Bad Man, a novel by Miranda July. It's beautifully written, it's true art, and it's messed up.
I am reading The Wig, The Bitch, and The Meltdown. I guess think like Crazy Rich Asians meets The Ladies Who Punch. And it's a perfect, easy read, especially while we're all going through what we're going through in the world.
I hope you are getting through your version of quarantine in whatever way that makes you feel uplifted during these very dark, unsettling times.
I think there are times in life where you have to face reality, and there are times in life where it's kind of a good idea for your mental health to escape.
This is the most important thing right now. Our problems are always growing and increasing, but if we feel like we're growing and we're learning and we're progressing, we feel like we can overcome our problems.
You know, we're in this big global crisis right now. It feels like it's time for some reflection.
First of all, I don't like to read. It takes a lot to get me to read.
We'll make this a dramatic reading.
There's construction outside. That I can't, there's nothing I can do about that.
I want to write a book. I'll never write a book.